What's up, dudes and dudettes? It's more here. Today I'm going to show you my method of motion tracking. But before I start, I want to show you guys my live stream. A lot of you guys probably don't know about this, but it's right here on my channel. You just click that and you go to it and you can check it out, and I'll be live streaming there a lot. Like I live streamed a couple times. Be sure to follow it right there. That way it tells you every time that I'm live streaming. And alright, so let's get started. So basically this right here is what we're going to be dealing with. So just like record a cinematic from your PVR or whatever, just get one. And then I like to render in 25 frames. So that's what I'll do here. So you take it, drag it in, just find the spot. I think it's like right here. Yeah. So let's split it. And oh shit, wait, hang on. That's way too easy. Oh, it's right here. This was in my high edit if any of you have seen that. Hopefully all of you have seen that. Alright, so find out what you want. What did I do? Oops. Okay. And delete. Alright, so then make sure that that's what you want. Play it. Looks good. Everything's fine. Okay, so you want to crop out if you have the spectating. You want to crop it out by going to here and you squeeze it in till you can't see it anymore. But I don't, because I just held in a stun or whatever. So I'm just gonna go to my HD PVR thing and go to properties, disable resample, and uncheck maintain aspect ratio. Makes it look a little bit better. And then I always go to sharpen and add a light sharpen to it. You can tell a little bit, but not very much. And then, okay, then you go to project settings. You go to frame rate. I change it to 25 PAL. Click apply and OK. Then you go to render. And so this is what you're going to want to do. You go to wherever you're going to render it. I'm going to render it. Actually, you know what? I'll render it to my desktop. Okay. Make a new folder, name it test. So then you want to make one folder named SEQ for sequence, and then I'll make another one for files for everything else so that we're organized. So you want to, first of all, let's just render out the video instead of the sequence. So that I'm gonna go to my template that I already have saved. You want to go to main concept AAC. You want to go to default template, but then you go custom, and then you copy everything down. Basically what you want is a frame rate of 25, 14 million. You can just go down and click 14 million, and project on best. And I think that's it. Just and with 1280 height 720 for 720p, and that's pretty much it. I think this has to be changed too. I'm not sure though. Then click OK. Save it there. I'll save it as original, and then I'll render that out. And it shouldn't take too long. But then you have to render the sequence. So then make sure everything's cool. Looks good. Alright, so then you have the same thing. And since the project is already set to... hang on. What the fuck? Alright, there we go. Since the project is already set to 25 frames, I can render it right now in the sequence, and it's already going to be 25 frames. So I go to the sequence folder, and I go to image sequence, BMP, JPEG, and I leave it on PNG, and I usually leave it as untitled. You can name it as whatever you want. And then you save it, and then it renders out, and this usually takes a little bit longer because you're rendering more. You're rendering each frame out, and then yeah. But then after this, I'll go ahead and open Buju. This is Vegas, Buju to Cinema 4D to After Effects if you want to go to After Effects, but there's not really much reason. Okay, then I go to open folder, and it shows that it should be somewhere along 100 frames or so, depending on how long the cinematic is. And I go to exit, and I save it to where I had it. Oh, it's desktop. I go to files, and then I'll save it here as whatever. And then I have this right here, and I'll drag this into the timeline on Buju. And this is very important. You go to frame rate, you go to frame rate, you go to 25, and make sure that's at 0. And you click apply, and then hit no, and then close. And then you just scroll through it to make sure that everything's right. Looks good, looks good. Then you hit track features, start, and then that takes, you know, a second or two. Yeah, so I should have a couple good edits out soon, so be ready for those. But after you get the hang of this, you can do this whole motion track thing in 10 minutes. All you have to do is maybe watch this a couple times, and then you should be fine. Okay, so then you go to camera solve, you go to optimize camera path smoothness, and you hit start, and then that takes like a second, and then it gives you all these little points. Now instead of doing what normal people do, as like go to each point and find all the coordinates, what I do is I go to scene geometry, I go to add coordinate from hint, I go to origin, and then I pick where I want the text to be. Since right now it's kind of an awkward angle of the camera, I'll pick right there, and then I can move it in Cinema 4D. Connect to selected, add coordinate from hint, and then we change it to ZX plane. Now this tells Cinema 4D where the floor is going to be, so the shadows and stuff. So then I hold control and I'll drag about right here. So that's where the floor is going to be. It's going to be slanting downward, and it tracks all those points. So then you could connect to selected, and it's as simple as that in Buju. That's the easiest part. And then you, where is it? Add test object, and then that's close enough, so it, you know, it's fine. I can move it. This is just really fast. Normally you want to take your time on it and actually find good points. So then you go to delete and delete. Go to export camera solve. Change this to Cinema 4D. Hit browse, and find where you saved it. And then I go to files and I save it as Cinema 4D, so no confusion. Change the start frame to 0, because you started the render at 0, and you want to scale scene by 10. Just add a 0 at the before the decimal, and then everything else should be fine. Then you hit save, and you hit this. You want to save, and it automatically will go to the right spot. Yeah, I type in Buju. And then you're done with that. Then you open up the Cinema 4D file. You double click it, and I'm using R13. If you're using R12, it's practically the same. So you hit OK, and then here's the basic thing. You go to create new. You can either, no, you can't right click. You can double click, or you can go to create new material. Then you double click the material, and you go to texture, load image, and you have to find your sequence wherever you saved it. I saved it on my desktop. You go to this folder and you click the first one. Click open, click no, and then this part is how it gets. Right now you have one frame, so if I add this to the background, it's going to be one frame throughout the whole thing. What you do to get all the frames instead of adding a video is you click this, and it comes up here, and you go to animation and you click calculate, and it'll put all the frames there, and now it's a movie instead of just a frame. So then you go to background, you go to the thing that looks like a floor, and you go down to background, and then you drag this material onto that, and then if you scroll through it, everything looks good. The floor looks nice and lined up. The first frame, for some odd reason, is never tracked, but the rest of it is completely tracked, like 100% tracked, never wrong. And then you go to MoGraph, MoText, and the text is going to come out pretty big, so you go down here to height, and you lower that down to about like 20 or so, and you make the depth like 10, and you make it gay, or not gay, but you make it whatever you want it to be. And then if you look, the text is completely tracked, or should be. If this is this one looks a little bit different because it's I kind of rushed it, but let's see. Yeah, it is. It's 100% tracked. So anyway, then you just add you can do whatever. Normally I add a floor. You go to Cinema 4D tags, compositing, uncheck self-shadowing, check compositing background. Then I add then I click this material, hold control, drag it onto the floor, and then if you see it, then it looks fine. Then I add a light, and I'll pull the light, hang on, I'll pull it over a little bit, pull it back, right about there, take the coordinates, bring the Y thing way up, and then go to shadow map soft, and turn the density down to like 80-ish. And it gives it a nice shadow on the ground. And then yeah, so, and then you can add whatever you want, and to animate it, you go, let's see, how long are we at? 10 minutes, alright, good. To animate it, you go to right click. This is in R13, I don't know about R12. I'm pretty sure it's in function or something up here, I don't know, you have to play with it, no homo. You go to right click, make editable, and then you click the plus thing. And it's very important that you have the text, whatever you want it to be, whatever font, whatever you want it to say, before you do this, because you cannot change it after you've done this, or you lose all your animations. So you just keep clicking the plus buttons until you get down to each letter individually, and then you can go to like this frame, and then hit the keyframe button, and hit the keyframe button, hit the keyframe button, then go to the very beginning, and like bring it like out. Something like that, I don't know. And I hit the keyframe button, and then I don't know, get jiggy with it, but like just screw around, do random things. Hit the keyframe button. Remember to always, if you don't hit the keyframe button, everything you do doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything if you don't hit the keyframe button. Okay, and then hit the keyframe button, and then it's animated to where it all comes in like that. So it's like, wait. Alright, well, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and there is an advanced part of this in case you're doing a cinematic that's like not so easy. Like, is this one, the floor is like the floor is right here, and it's kind of easy to get the ZX plane, but in some cinematics there isn't a floor, and it's a little bit harder to get the Buju, and to get the frame rate right, it's a little bit harder. And there's an advanced portion that makes it 100% tracked, but if you want that, request it in the comments, and I can do that for show. But I'll render this out, and I'll play this at the end of the video. And thanks for watching. See you guys later.